Investigators are now searching for a person of interest after the murders of 4 men who had been missing from Milk. More on what investigators learned about these brutal killings and the car they recovered today.
Plus, vandals hit a Tulsa donut shop right after the store hosted an event involving drag queens. What people are doing to help.
And although Congress is currently on break so legislators can campaign, some Oklahoma representatives say this break needs to be shorter.
Oklahoma's own News on 6 starts now.
First at 6 tonight, investigators recover the vehicle that belongs to a person of interest in the murders of 4 men. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Lori Fulbright.
And I'm Jonathan Cooper. Police say the bodies recovered last week are the 4 men who had been missing. The bodies were also dismembered. Police say they initially interviewed the person of interest, but now have new questions for him, but he hasn't been seen or heard from in 3 days. News on 6's Ashlyn Brothers is live with what we know about Joseph Kennedy II. Ashlyn?
Well, Lori and Jonathan, police say Joe Kennedy is a convicted felon who's currently serving a 10-year deferred sentence for a previous shooting that happened at a salvage yard back in 2012. Now, police say that he was reported missing Saturday night and he might be suicidal. Officers found his blue PT Cruiser this afternoon abandoned behind a business in Morris. Police say the 4 missing men, Mark Chastain and his brother Billy, Mike Sparks, and Alex Stevens, all had gunshot wounds and their bodies were dismembered before being dumped in the Deep Fork River. Court documents show that Kennedy was charged in 2012 with assault with a dangerous weapon for shooting at 6 men who broke into his business A&A Auto Salvage about 6 months after it had opened. Kennedy hit 1 man who survived. All 6 were charged with second-degree burglary, and Kennedy was given a 10-year long deferred sentence in May of 2013, which expires next May. Kennedy was also charged in 1998 in Okmulgee County with attempting to receive stolen property. Police say Kennedy was cooperative prior to his disappearance and denied knowing all 4 men. Chief Joe Prentice says they are now conducting interviews, looking through more surveillance footage and waiting on phone records. No charges have been filed at this time.
A very methodical search was conducted Saturday at the salvage yard on 20th Street as well as surrounding properties. Nothing remarkable was observed inside the salvage yard, but evidence of a violent event was discovered on an adjoining property.
Police say they found blood at the adjoining property, and if you know where Kennedy is or any information that could help police with this investigation, you're asked to call police. Live in Okmulgee, Ashlyn Brothers, Oklahoma's own News on 6.
Vandals hit a Tulsa donut shop after the store hosted an event involving drag queens.
News on 6's Michaela Glenn is live as owners clean up the mess. Michaela?
Jonathan and Lori, the donut hole is usually opened on Mondays, but today the owners were here cleaning up their shop and waiting to see just how much repairs will cost.
Saturday night, we had the privilege of hosting Daniel Gulig's Queen's Dirty Dozen concept, which was a donut shop ran by drag queens.
Brian Hunter is one of the owners of the donut hole. He says the event was a hit with customers, with about 500 people showing up in a line around the block.
Everybody seemed to really enjoy the show, the concept, the idea.
Hunter says the store was selling donuts, artwork, and merchandise with the queens on Saturday.
So we shut down, came in the next morning, and realized that I don't think it was received very well by everybody. Our front windows were smashed, a couple things were missing.
Hunter believes this happened because of this weekend's event. He says the community stepped in to support the store immediately.
We started cleaning. The community really, thankfully, got behind us within, I think, an hour. Some of our neighbors were here helping board up the windows.
On Sunday, regular customers who hadn't heard about what happened even jumped in to help paint the boards on the windows to match the shop. A GoFundMe that was set up to pay for the repairs has already raised more than $7,000. Hunter says he's encouraged by the quick action of the community after this setback. Owners say that they hope to have the shop open by this weekend, and they say that they want to give the extra money to the Neal Equality Center. Live in Tulsa, Michaela Glenn, Oklahoma's own News on 6.
Oh, the Big Burr is on, and we go from really hot with temperatures around 90 as we looked on into Saturday, and then all of a sudden things just fell apart, and now it's freezing already. Now, some folks are looking forward to this, but again, if you have a garden, you will have to cover it up tonight if you want to keep tomato plants, pepper plants, anything alive, because it's going to be awfully cold. Temperatures are in the 50s. We struggled today to get into the low 60s, and with the dry air, bone dry air, that allows temperatures to drop off very quickly. Most of the metro hanging in the 50s. We're down to 55 right now, and these temperatures will drop quickly as we go through the evening hours. In fact, lows tonight will be in the 20s, especially in outlying areas, and then around 30 to 31 in the heart of Tulsa. But get ready. It's a cold night. So we're frosted and we're frozen. And also we're going to be dry and have fires coming back to bother us. But there is Oktoberfest and warmth. Details of your forecast coming up.
Of course, Travis has been talking about this for weeks, the drought, and it's causing a lot of problems for a lot of people in Green Country.
Rogers, Nowata, and Washington counties are facing extreme drought. News on 6's Caitlin Deggs talked to one rural fire department about preventing wildfires.
Well, the Oglesby Fire Department in southeastern Washington County has been trying to warn people about the drought conditions, from Facebook posts to posters, just trying to keep people from accidentally setting fields on fire. Daniel Cunningham is the fire chief for the Oglesby Fire Department. He says these drought conditions are some of the worst he's seen in 20 years.
It's odd. Usually we're wet at this time of year, but when we're coming this dry, we kind of let people know, hey, be aware of not to burn.
He says having to battle large grass fires as a rural fire department can be challenging.
We don't have adequate water hydrants in this area. We have to rely on tankers, and that sometimes can take time. Into that, we also called mutual aid or auto aid.
In an effort to discourage people from burning, the department has offered to help people with controlled burns once the burn bans are lifted and more rain comes.
We have a list in there in the office, and some of the firemen's got a list of people who want to burn like their brush piles and trash or stuff like that. We try to get to them.
Cunningham wants people to look up the burn bans in their area because they can change.
Be aware, because if the fire ban wasn't on, we have people in the past, is because we burned last night does not affect tomorrow. It's like I try to train for these guys, is because we do a controlled burn tonight, what's tomorrow going to hold?
And Cunningham says as we head into the winter, be careful when it comes to burning ashes outside, because that can easily set an entire field on fire. In Washington County, Caitlin Deggs, Oklahoma's Own, News on 6.
Firefighters say last night's fire at a galvanizing plant in Verdigris damaged about 40% of that building, and crews were able to avoid hazardous materials running into the nearby river. Firefighters say no employees were at Valmont Galvanizing when that fire started. The folks at Valmont say they are so grateful to all the first responders and, of course, thankful that nobody was hurt. Governor Kevin Stitt has signed 2 bills that he hopes will help the Oklahoma National Guard. What new benefits could help recruit and keep Guard members.
But first, some members of Congress are getting restless as they wait for the rest to return from a break.